Jim, our next question sent to CornyDriveThru at gmail.com from your friend in Kentucky, Tim. Just curious, what are your thoughts on MJF's reign so far? It feels to me like a bit of a letdown, as I expected him to be more of a controversial figure on TV programming, but seems like it has been very mild thus far.
Well, there hasn't been a reign. He won the belt, and we're still trying to figure out which one of these pillows he's going to fight next, when everybody wants him to fight Punk or some other star, or potentially Darby Allin. But we're being, inundated with the idea that somebody thinks he ought to fight Jungle Boy and or Slappable Sammy.
But that's an important point you just made when talking about MJF's reign so far. The original plan, from the best of what we know, was it was going to be him and Punk again, and of course everything that happened at All Out changed that, but that was the direction they were going to go.
Well, and right now, again, has he defended the title since he won it?
Danielson,
that's right. He's had one title defense.
Well, it has to be more than one title defense. I just am not thinking of anyone off the top of my head.
Well, when did he win it?
When did he win it?
Yeah.
MJF title
We could give you chapter and verse from 1978, but shit that happened 3 months ago.
He won it November 19th, 2022.
Okay. And he beat Danielson in defense of it. Who else?
Ricky Starks. He wrestled Ricky Starks.
Boom. There you go. In a TV match. Who else?
But there's only been one pay-per-view since then.
So basically, December, January, February, March, April. It's been 5 months. He's defended the title that we can think of twice. I don't think the reign is bad yet, because I don't think it started yet. And the way that they're moving, it might not for a while. And also, again, there's nobody for him to wrestle that, Darby Allin, if they were concentrating on as a single, I think they've got something there. Jungle Boy gets in the fucking way. Sammy, please, let's get over that right now. And Punk needs to come. Punk and MJF, the next go round with the shoes on the other foot, should be big. If the EVPs don't get their way and piss Punk off so bad that he refuses to return.
Well, that's the problem. What do you do if you have a hot wrestler and you make him your world champion, and then you all of a sudden run out of viable opponents for that person? Punk?
That's when you get a new booker.
Okay. Well, they're not going to do that because the booker happens to sleep with the promoter. It's the same person. So if you have that issue and there's no Punk and the pillars are there and you can't do Moxley again, not that we'd want to see that, the problem with MJF's title reign has probably been just who he's working with because of who there is to work with.
Yeah, it's basically he's almost alone in the company in terms of people that can fucking stand up to him verbally and in the ring and as a personality and create some conflict. Because everybody else is not on his level verbally. They're doing the same matches that they do with everybody else. And there's, Darby could be different, but they're muddling it up with these other fucking clowns.
Is there anyone else there that you've seen, not just people we've talked about having great potential, like a Wardlow or a Powerhouse Hobbs, but is there anyone else you've seen there, whether they're being used right or not, that you think is a younger person that could be built up to be because it's almost like you have like a Ric Flair, but you have no Ricky Steamboat right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough, and we only get to see glimpses of some of these people, and others we see way too much. But no, that's the problem, is that when Tony decided he was going to take the advice of these three goofballs that he listens to and that he originally built his company around, that's what he limited himself to, because they suggested all the talent to be signed. And there's a million people that can work with Kenny and Maddie and Nikki and do the gymnastics and all the falderall that they like to do that we've seen way too much of. There's a bunch of guys in the company can do that, but there's very few that are serious wrestling talents that can get over on a main event basis and have a match that makes sense and looks good and professional. And those guys have been minimized because they're not in the Play Friends clique. And I look at FTR. FTR, honestly, are the two best technicians in the ring in the entire company. And along with Danielson. And look at Danielson. Jesus Christ, they made him a mute practically. They switched him. They not only switched him heel after he was a great heel about a year and a half ago, then they switched him back babyface, then they got sympathy on him, then they put him in with this group of nitwits that he's been associating with. They ran off William Regal, and now there's Claudio and Danielson sitting in a fucking group with the plumber, and they're uninteresting. So I don't know.
You brought up Punk before, and obviously the original plan before All Out was Punk and MJF, we believe, because MJF came out at the end of that show in Chicago to confront him. And things did not happen that way. We didn't get to see what was going to happen with the Firm and Stokely and MJF. MJF gets the title in November from Moxley. Another round of Punk and MJF. You think it could be as special as the first one?
Yes, because they didn't finish anything, really. They had one fucking match. And with guys that can talk as well as that, with guys that have following as they do, you can always do something. And nothing has been settled there that you couldn't come back to.
Well, Jim, perhaps a CM Punk fan or an MJF fan, I don't know if he has any fans, he's a heel, but someone who watches that guy, maybe they say, you know what, this sucks. What we're getting is not what I wanted. I want to sue.
Well, you know, even the devil has his worshipers, and I'll tell you who you ought to be worshiping, this man right here.
Call Stephen P. News. If you need to sue. An outlaw mud show or two. Those are the rest.
Folks, he sometimes gets red in the face when he is defending his clients, but he does not carry a pitchfork unless he's doing work on his spacious property in West Virginia. But Stephen P. New, he's a devil to deal with, boy. And the devil is in the details. And the details when you are in trouble, when you have been wronged, when you have been harmed is, who's your lawyer? That's the details. And the devil there is Stephen P. New at newlawoffice.com, 888-692-8084, because Stephen, even though he combs his hair so you can't see his horns on top of his head.
What?
But he will dig right in, and he will put the people that are bothering you underneath some fire and brimstone. When he unleashes his closing arguments in a court of law, people duck and cover like it's a daggum fire drill or an air raid. Stephen P. New and newlawoffice.com for all your legal jurisprudence needs.